Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is a straightforward guide to how to start Jujutsu Lineage. Please like, sub, and share the video. I'd appreciate it a lot. Alright, so first things first, you want to start off when you're level 1. A lot of people seem to have a misunderstanding about the stats. Bro, strength scales your M1 damage, health scales your health, power scales your damage for your sub abilities and stuff like that. Weapon scales your weapon damage and stuff like that, and then destructive power scales your stand M1s, and destructive energy scales your stand skills. So you won't ever have to switch what you're using once you're using a stand. Like if you main stand, you should only be putting your health, destructive power, and destructive energy in, because you don't need the other stats unless you're making a different build. But other than that, you want to start off by doing the tutorial and then completing the storyline. You want to get at least 1 prestige so that you could go ahead and beat all the requirements that you need to get basically all the obtainables, because you need to prestige once to unlock certain stuff like Made in Heaven and stuff like that. I'll drop a video on how to get this later and how to beat the raids, but in the meantime, you should start off with basically doing your storyline and then trying to get a good stand. Most of all, basically, once you prestige, you're going to want to go and try to unlock all the different fighting styles and stuff like that so you can make a new build and stuff like that. But other than that, the best way I can tell you to progress is to continue following your storyline, trying to get a better stand, and then, like I said, trying to progress basically said stand. So if you're struggling getting levels for your stand, what you want to do, there's if you're playing on PC, you can press N and then you'll see all the NPCs around the map. You want to press N and then find your way to red. This is the bus stop person, I guess. And then if you go to bus stop 17, this bus stop is where you go to come over here and then do meditation. Meditating will give you a lot of stand XP basically. So you want to go in there, meditate, and fight yourself to get your stand XP up. And you can get your stand leveled up all the way to 100, because 100 is max. That's what you're basically going to want to do to eventually get your stand awakening. So basically you'll just go in there and fight yourself over and over to get your stand up, and it's also good for XP because I believe you get 1000 XP as well. Other than that, you want to complete the main storyline, and then once you complete the main storyline, if you're lucky enough to do that, because the cure raid is pretty hard to do, then you want to go over and you want to start doing PvP boards. PvP boards are really good for getting levels and stuff like that. You also get rare chests from it and like 6k XP, so it's a really good way to get your drops up and try to get better items, because when you first start off, it's not going to be easy. You're going to want to start trying to get drops that have PvE damage on them, because if you get drops that have PvE damage on them, then it'll buff your damage, to the NPCs, which is honestly best for you. I would say when you first start off, it would be best to try not to put much health in the... Don't put much stats into health, because health isn't really good at all for basically anything. It's kind of a waste of stat points. Just kind of dunk all your points into destructive power and destructive energy so you have high damage. As long as you're basically one-tapping the NPCs, it should be easy to, get your max level and then prestige. Because once you prestige, it'll reset your stat points basically. So then you'll be able to choose what kind of build you want to make from there. To prestige, you need level 50 and then at least 10k money. And then basically once you get that level 50 and 10k, You want to go either to a bus stop or something like that, and you can go to bus stop 10, and there's actually this building right here where you'll go up there and talk to somebody named the Archmage. The Archmage is how you prestige. And once you prestige, there's different levels you can get from and there's different items you can get from the prestige shop once you prestige, and this is what I basically prestige for, to get different items out of here. Alright. That's like the starter stuff I can only tell you for now. I'm gonna make a better guide eventually, but this guide has to low-key go up now because I keep constantly seeing people ask, oh, what stats do I put in for Made in Heaven? What stats do I put in for Star Platinum? If you're that progressed, you should not be asking that question. You should definitely understand how the stats work and have a better understanding of what you're doing. But that's it for now. Hopefully tune in for the better guide.